Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another running low pressure thin paint. We are taking the new Hydro Steenbeck Evolution 2024 for a spin, and I've got the 045 needle and nozzle set up. Now if you get the twin set of this, you'll get the 028 and the 045. Now I've put the 045 in just to show you how well this brush can get down on detail for that larger size needle and nozzle. Because most of you think that you need something really small to get the details down, but you don't. Now, this is the new version, so if you've not yet seen it, it's a lovely brush, it really is. I think they've done loads more changes compared to the old one. The actual finish of the body on it is like triple plate chrome, nicer trigger, different trigger design, really responsive. You've got a different dial to the back on this as well, so when you dial in for your trigger movement, it's quicker. It's a different style thread on it, so it can dial the trigger in at like quarter turns instead of you winding it to dial it in. It's a lot quicker to the back if you use that when you're painting. I find the triggers on these, the trigger tops, same sort of design as the old one that's got like the little dish to the top, but this one's a lot wider and just more comfortable when you're holding it. You've got the prong cap to the front, which you can take off, so you can work with the prong cap off. This is, I'd say, the best design for a crown cap. It really is, because it's easier to take on and off, and you can work with it on and you can still see your needle to the front. And if you wanted to do like a bubble back and mix your paint in the cup, you just put your thumb and finger over the front end like that and you can instantly bubble back with it. So it's quick and easy. These brushes are very simple to break down, and that's why you see me on the channel a lot of the times. I've always got a H&S in my hand, because if there is any dramas when you're painting, you can troubleshoot these brushes very quick and you can strip them down, clean it very fast and put it back together. And I did just that on the channel the other day. I think it was a beginner's one for you guys, and I stripped the brush down in 10 seconds. Stripped completely, 10 seconds, done. And then you clean the bits, put it back together. You can do it blindfolded. That's on the channel if you wanted to see that. I stripped the H&S down and put it back together blindfolded. That's how easy these brushes are. When you get to know them, you'll just enjoy them, and that's what it's about. So we'll get hooked up, move the camera in. We're going to use my thin Payne's Grey mix, which is the isopropyl water. And I just wanted to show you how well this brush gets down for a 045. Right guys, so there's the brush. I mean, just look at the finish on that brush. They are quality, guys, they really are. There isn't, when you pick up a brush, it's only until you pick it up and see it. You see these images on Google and things, and you look at it and yeah, look all nice. All brushes look nice in chrome. But it's only until you pick one of these up and then literally disassemble it and put the bits back together, then you realise how much quality and time has gone into creating one of these. They're just quality, guys, they really are. A bubble back, nice and simple. This is what I mean by bubbling back. You can just pinch over the front like that, dead easy, press down, and you can bubble back your paint really easy with this brush. The crown caps just slide off. So you've got a nice needle view. If you're working like a load of detail, you can see your needle, you can see how close up you're going. So I've got 20 psi. You've got your cutaway to the back, and what's nice about this brush as well, nice big chuck there that you can undo. These have got on the needle at the back, it tells you what needle's in it. You've got little notches on the needle. You just count the little rings, tells you what it is. So this is the 4.5. If you had the 2.8 in there, you'd have the little lines to tell you it's the 0.28. So very good design. There's no other brush companies that do that with their needles, so you know what setup you've got in it. And it does it on the actual nozzles as well. You've got the rings on the nozzles which tell you which nozzle matches up to the needle. So this is 20 psi. I'm just going to pull the paint through, get a feel of it. Now, if you can see that, just getting used to this at the minute, just pulling it through. Tiny little dots. Yeah, this is a 045. Drop that pressure down. I mean, look at that. Hairlines straight away with this brush. And this is the 045. Really nice, responsive. Now I've got the feel of the brush. Little bubble back. Drop this mix down slightly. Little bit of ISO, because we are running thin paint, low pressure. There you go. I mean, look at that. They atomize and perform so well. They really do. That is tiny. So this is what I mean by, you don't have to have these real small needle and nozzle combos to get ridiculously down on detail. This is the 045 and it works. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Tiny little dagger strokes. Clean as well. So a really nice brush by H&S, the Evo is. I've got the old Evo, and my old Evo performs really well. That's a very old brush now, and it still performs like it did out the box. And that's what I mean by you getting the quality there. I've done a load of videos on the channel with this brush, pieces of artwork with it. I think I've done some miniature portraits with it, with the other needle and nozzle combo in it with the 028. But the 45, this is around 15 psi, and you don't seem to get loads of blowback when you paint. And you can get straight down, not spidering. This is thin paint, and it's straight down. And you can wallop the paint down with this as well, because you've got a lot more movement now. The triggers go further back on these, so when you're cleaning and you want to dump the paint out quick, this brush will dump the paint out quick. If you've brought the Ultra as a beginner and you're liking the Ultra and you think, I really fancy the Evo, I think it is the next best step to do, because you'll feel the difference in the spring tension on the trigger. It's that little bit softer, so it's like the next progression for your detail brush. And this thing, just, you want detail, this will do it in abundance. It really will. Just nudge that trigger. It's nice to pick this up. I've been using the Dred for the last few videos and really liking that. And what I like about that is, the only reason why I pick this up more over this than this, I can set my tension in the trigger here on this. That's the only thing you don't have on the Evo, is the tension adjust on the actual trigger. But the actual tension, I think, for this brush is bang on. I mean, look at them tiny little dagger strokes. Straight off the bat. Just straight the way up, just bang and straight into a tiny little dagger stroke. Yeah, it's an amazing, and that's at high, that's it. You can hear that. And that's just straight down. Look at that. With that air pressure, it's like, on a 045, it's like thin paint, not spidering out. You just got that nice control with it. Point to points with this brush with ease on dagger strokes. Yeah. This brush, when I work with this, you've seen it on the channel, this brush speeds me up. It makes me, I just want to paint fast with it. Because you've got that instant flow of paint, just bang. This sort of pressure, 20 psi, and you can just go down on this, and look at that. Back off, straight in again, tiny little dagger strokes, hairline. It releases the paint so well. Drop it down. Yeah, this brush likes. I think it sits better. There's a little bit more pressure, but it's like, it's really weird because you're going up at that pressure. Look, you'd think that would spider it, but it doesn't, because you can get the paint that, finesse the paint that much on the trigger. You can really gauge minimal paint with this. I mean, look at that. For a 045. You really can just tickle that paint on. With ease. So yeah, a lovely brush, guys. If you're thinking of the Evo CR Plus 2024, highly recommend it. It's very nice. Consistent, just, and this is thin paint, guys, and you can hear that air pressure. That's up to my hand, so that's why it's hitting the paper like, and you really think that would blow out on that paper, but it's not. It just does it with ease. So there's a look at the Evo. We'll do a little bit of shading here. You can really just put what paint you want down with that trigger. If you want to wallop it down, just pull back on that trigger and it will dump the paint. But you want to really finesse it to get real soft atomization like that. You can just touch that trigger and it just does it. Little bit of a drop on there. Yeah, lovely brush. Yeah, nice control with it. Nice and easy. Look at the atomization on there, how it just atomizes the paint. Spot on. So that's the H&S Evo 2024. If you are wondering what it's like, they are awesome, guys. They really are. You won't go wrong, and it'll be with you through your whole career. You'll have no issues with this brush. You really won't. If you have issues with it, you're doing something wrong. because I've never had a drama with the H&S. I really haven't. And I've got the oldest one on the shelf at 15 to 16 years old. And you just know that's going to be with you for that sort of time. So, brilliant brush. So there you go, there's my little test with the Evo running. You don't need to run low pressure. You don't need to run low pressure with that brush. I think the brush works best at around 15 PSI with that real thin paint, and it just eats it. It just, on a 045, guys, I mean, there's 2mm dagger strokes down on there with a 045 at 15 PSI with thinned out paint that you'd think you would get spider webbing with and spidering out and blowing out. It didn't even do that. It went down absolutely clean. Now, for a brush to do that on a 045, it's sort of like, you'd think near on impossible that you could get them sort of details down and how tight that paint is with that size needle and nozzle. But this brush does it, and that's why the Evo, it releases the paint really quick. It really does. And when I pick this brush up and paint, it speeds me up. It's a quick brush. It really is. I tend to paint really quick with it. It's just the way it releases the paint. It's like bang, it's there. Very weird how it works. It's only until you pick one up and then you'll realise when you go from your cheap budget £20 brush and then you pick up something like that, it just opens your eyes. When you put thin paint mix in these, they just come alive, and they really do. Completely transforms it. When you're used to sticking thick bodied acrylics in and you're cranking the air up and it's like trying to push out these thick bodied acrylics, because I've done it in the past, feels like you're pulling like 4 to 5mm back on the trigger. It's like, when's that paint coming out? But that, literally, it just feels like you're pulsing your finger. It doesn't even feel like you're pulling back on the trigger. You can literally touch the trigger on that with that paint mix at 15 PSI and it will hit that consistent, and it did. You've just seen it go straight in, bang, bang, dots, the 2mm dagger strokes, atomising, and you can wallop the paint down. We dropped it past there. I wasn't even going full back on the trigger on that. I was sort of like halfway and it was dumping the paint out. So it's a quick brush. It does speed you up. And I think the 045 in that, if you get the twin set, you get the 028, which is the finer needle, and you get the 45. But I think the 45 is the one. It's got a really nice release on it, and the way it just gets the paint out, really good brush. So I hope you enjoyed the video on the little look at the Evo 2024. I'll leave a link in the description if you fancy picking one up. I'd highly recommend it, I really would. And I will see you in the next one. Like, shares, comments, it all helps, guys. Drop your comments if you've got an Evo. Tell me your thoughts on it. I know it's going to be good and not bad, I just know it. If it's bad, there's something wrong that you're doing, because I think it's awesome. So yeah, I'll see you lot in the next one. Cheers.